In this tutorial, we're going to create, format, and finish our dashboard, adding a calculation for operators required, and then finish by discussing next steps and ways we can use this dashboard. So to create our dashboard, let's create a new dashboard and bring our Yamazumi and operator loading charts into the view. Now I'm going to reposition and resize some containers and do a little bit of formatting to clean this up. Great. And now ready for the finishing touch, which is to calculate the number of operators required from our Yamazumi chart and add that to our dashboard. To calculate our operators required for this process, we need to get the sum total of all of our manual cycle times and divide that by our takt time. Currently, our cycle times total to 255 seconds, and with our default parameters, our takt time is 46.5 seconds. That would calculate to 5.5 operators, which for practical purposes would mean we'd need 6 operators. We want the 5.5 to show on our dashboard. To do that, we're going to need to go back to the data pane in one of our worksheets and create a calculated field to sum our total cycle. And we'll need this to stay fixed on our total manual cycle time, which we'll do by opening a curly bracket, the command fixed, and then close curly bracket. And our calculation is valid. So let's click OK. Now let's create another calculated field, which is going to, we'll call it operators, or it could be resources required, but we're going to filter just on manual. And that's just simply going to be our total cycle divided by our takt. And our calculation is valid. And now we've calculated our operators required. Note before moving forward that I've reset all of our parameters to the default 7.5 working hours, 20 work orders at 7 minutes per setup, and 400 units per day to give our takt calculation of 46.5. So we expect our number of operators to calculate to 5.5. So the way I'm going to bring this into our dashboard is I'm going to create a new worksheet. I'm simply going to bring operators required by dragging it into text. And now when I filter on just the manual, what do you know? We get our 5.5. Okay, let's do just a little formatting here. And let's go ahead and change this to blue and bold and give it a good size. I don't know, maybe 16 point. And let's take the decimals down to 1 decimal place. And let's rename our worksheet. Okay, now to bring this into our dashboard, simply need to go back and bring in the sheet just as we did the other sheets. We'll bring it into this container here and turn the title off, and boom, there's our 5.5. Let's give this a label by dragging a text box into the container, and we'll reposition this just below it, and we'll do a few quick formatting touches here. We can change that alignment. We can actually go back to our worksheet and also in our alignment here, center this. Okay, congratulations. We've made it to our finished product dashboard. We can control any of these parameters. What if our required output what if our customer demand goes down to say 300? It'll recalculate our number of operators and our takt time. But what if our setup time gets out of control and let's say we're finding it takes 15 minutes to get set up? Wow, that changes things significantly. Meanwhile, what if I could change over my entire line within cycle? Wow, that's a different calculation altogether. In each case, we want to balance the line such that all of our operators except for the final operator are fully utilized up to takt. So that only the one operator incurs any waiting time in our process. And then the next steps would be to seek to remove any wastes in any of these processes to see if we could further take the last fraction of the operator out of the process entirely. To help accomplish this, we can easily take our Yamazumi chart and break it out by operator to see which tasks can be redistributed. go ahead and rename this an operator balance Yamazumi. And if we wanted to, we could replace just our operator loading chart with our operator balance Yamazumi in our dashboard. Perhaps there's more utility in having that view than this just simple operator loading. I'm going to take this back to our original finished product. So next steps would include, in addition to rebalancing the tasks for the least operator method and looking to eliminate waste in our process altogether, I'd say definitely focus on setups. Can we get our setup time down to as close as in cycle as possible? As that has a huge impact on my takt time and the number of operators I would need to run the line. And then, of course, we need to develop a standard work playbook because this is simply to order and our customer demand really changes daily. We need to have a standard work playbook for all the different scenarios for our different takt times.